Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our iStaging talk today. My name is Stefan, and I'm here today with my colleague Andrea. You can speak with you the chat on the right-hand side of the screen. You can ask her any questions for today throughout the talk, and we'll be able to answer them. But we also have some time for a live Q&A session at the end of today's talk, so don't worry if you don't get an immediate answer. Now, today's topic is how to build a virtual showroom from scratch. I see that Frederick is saying that the sound is not very clear. See, can you guys hear me? Can you guys let me know? Very difficult to hear, okay? All right. That's, can you guys hear me now? Just let me know if some of you can hear me clearly or not. Is everything, is this better? This is better? Yeah, now it's okay? Okay, very good. All right. I think it might have to do, might have something to do with the air conditioning maybe in this room. So I'm gonna have to turn that off for the period of the webinar. Okay, all right. So I was saying that, good to know it's all clear now, guys. Thank you very much. I was saying that today's webinar is about how to build your virtual showroom from scratch. So it basically is a training session. Now, a training session is usually can take up to an hour, and I can personally talk for 24 hours about it. So we're gonna have to sort of condense that a little bit and make it a speech session, a little bit of a shorter version. And obviously this is for showrooms, but it can be used for so many different things. And I'm gonna share my screen in a minute, and we'll show you the VR editor and give you some tips and tricks and how it works and what you basically can do with it. And then hopefully, you know, that will help you guys out if you already have a subscription or if you're thinking about joining us. Okay, now with our platform, obviously you can create virtual experiences, and you first need the content before you can start editing anything, you know, videos, descriptions, tags, prices, anything like that. You need, you know, the actual content to do so. And there are two ways of doing that. Number one, you can actually take a 360 camera or our VR Maker smartphone app and capture physical spaces, or you can do 3D rendered panoramas. Now, that can either be designed if you have a designer or if you are a designer by your own team, and you can then upload them, or we have a team that can help you with that as well. We also have tons of templates that you can choose from, and I'm going to start with that to show you a little bit of the types of templates. You say, excuse me, if you're interested in any of those templates, you can contact us or reach out and say, hey, I want to purchase, you know, those ones to help me build my virtual experience. So let me start doing that. I'll share my screen. So just give me a second, and I'll get this going. All right, here we go. Just a minute, guys. Okay. You guys should be able to see my screen right now. Okay. Very good. Now I'm hoping I cannot see the chat at the moment, so I will look a little bit right of me every once in a while in case that something is wrong with the sound or anything like that, so that Andrea can let me know in case something happens. Okay, so as I said, you know, in terms of if you're not capturing and you want 3D rendered spaces, we have tons of templates. So they could look like booths, something like this, for example, or, you know, something more colorful like this, where you can then, you know, these are all empty, but you can start editing them. These are actually also available on the website if you want to look at them. Now, we also have stuff like entrance templates that you can use for example, events. Or if you want to create a virtual mall or a store where you say, hey, I want to create a certain entrance, you know, where virtual visitors can actually land before they go and explore the entire experience. So there are tons of them. We have exhibition halls, we have conference and meeting rooms. I'm just running through this quickly to give you an indication, an idea of what all of this is, right? So, we've got a conference room here. Here we got a lounge room or meeting areas. And obviously, most of these are empty spaces that you can then design in the VR editor. Now, I'll go away here, and then we'll go into the VR editor where I want to show you some of the things here. I'm mainly going to be focusing on the editing part, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. There's so much to talk about, but we don't have time for that, so I just want to show you a little bit of editing mainly. Now, when you actually have a virtual space uploaded, you will see them under panoramas, first of all, and then you have all kinds of tabs at the top, and the first one is the basic information, where you start editing some basic information, such as location, name, description. You can have a preview photo for uploading it to, for example, a social media like Facebook. You would see that preview photo. You can, show your contact information and choose a specific color scheme. This is all pretty straightforward. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Once you have a subscription or an account, this is pretty easy to figure out. Now, make sure that every single time you make a change or you change anything, click on Save here at the bottom, because if you don't, it doesn't save your changes, and then you have to redo all of it. And I promise you will only make that mistake once and then never do that again. By the way, if I'm going too fast, I hope I'm not going too fast, but feel free to ask any questions, or I can always come back to that later. Now, the most important thing is the marker editor. This is where you do all your editing. So whatever you want to display, your products, your services, videos, prices, checkout pages, whatever you could possibly think of to build an online experience, this is where you have to do that. And you do that with the menu on the left side with all kinds of icons that you can choose. Now, before I can actually click on something, I just want to show you this booth, which most of you probably have seen it. It's on the website, but it's a good example to show you what you can do. Before you basically click on anything or start editing, you need to prepare all your content. So make sure that you have the descriptions and the titles and all your products and images ready. And then you have to decide, how do I want to display them, right? So, what kind of information do I want to display? Do I want to have a pop-up window with an image, a description, and a title? Now, then you would get something like this. If I click on the racket in front of me, you would get a pop-up window that looks like this. Now, if I say I need a bigger area, I have more images that I want to display. I have, for example, a product with different colors that people can choose from. Well, then we have a different type of tag, which would look something like this, right? Which we would call a multi-tag. Or if you say, I want to upload a video directly or a website. Now, this is important to think about before you start editing, because that will depend, or that information will determine which type of tag you're going to choose. So let me go back to the editor now. I hope that you guys can all still hear me and see me. Now, obviously, I was talking about sort of the blank canvas, right? Either the booths or the captured spaces, and that's what you would see here, right? So in this case, it's a closed booth or a closed space, room, and now we need to edit that. Now, let's say that I want to add a tennis racket that you've just added, and I want to have that first pop-up window that just shows me a title, a description, and an image. Then we would choose the tag icon here on the left-hand side. Once you click on that, the tag editing menu will open, and a tag will appear in the middle of your panorama. Now, obviously, we need to change this tag into the tennis racket, right? So what we need to do here is click on this icon here in the corner where you can upload your own custom icon. And here it's also important, obviously the racket is just a racket. There's no background. So also think about, sometimes you want images that are with a transparent background. In other cases, you want something with a white background, for the actual pop-up window. So also something to consider. Now, transparent images are pretty easy to create if you don't have them. If you want to have a really quick fix, you can actually do that in PowerPoint. They have an easy function where you can, adjust or remove the background, and you can then create a beautiful product. So something to do. Now, once you uploaded that, I've already uploaded a racket here. You can then click on the racket, and you'll see that the tag icon then changes from the standard icon to the racket, and we can adjust the icon size here. So we're adjusting that size to the size that we want, not something like this. By the way, the tag editing menu for most of these functions will look the same. So you see things like icon size and icon opacity they'll come back every single time. So in the beginning, this might look a little bit complicated and daunting, but once you get the hang of it, you try this a little bit and you know what each one of the features does, you can do this pretty quickly if you have everything prepared. Now, icon opacity is similar to transparency. So let's say if I do that, then you have, and you hover over it eventually with your mouse, then it sort of pops up. But in this case, I want that to be at 100% here. So it makes the product really clear. Okay, then something really important is the custom coordinate plane function. This is, I think, one of the most important features within our platform to make your room or virtual space look real. You can actually adjust the angle of your tags to make them fit against the wall or fit a certain angle within the showroom. Now, this obviously, the image that I uploaded already has helped a little bit because it is a little bit, to the right. Anyway, when I click on this, you will see that there's a little box that appears in the middle with a red, blue, and a green fitting plane. And I can then decide to match that racket with either the red, the blue, or the green fitting plane here. Now, let's say that I choose blue. You'll see that the angle automatically changes. And now with the rotation slider, I can change the angle of this racket completely. Now, when I'm sharing my screen, I hope that you can clearly see what's going on. So I'll do it a couple of times. And then I can say, okay, I like the way that that it's displayed this way, something like that, at 21 degrees, and you're good to go. Now we have to enter the product information. So a title. Now I'm gonna just say Wilson tennis racket here, and then a description. Now I'm gonna keep this a little bit simple for racket, description for racket. And then we can upload the thumbnail image. So the image that you would see when you have that pop-up window. So let's do that. Now, because I'm not actually entering like real descriptions right here, the tag might not look that great in this case, but it's to show you how this works. Every single one that has this little red star is mandatory to fill out, but stuff like, for example, a price, you can leave that out if you want to. Now let me enter the price here, and then you can choose a call to action. So a call to action button at that if you want it. There are a couple of suggestions provided for you, but you can also enter a custom text and then just say, book demo, for example. And then you can add a link, just a URL link that you can link to that particular page. All right, so we've pretty much filled out all the information, and all we want to do now is click on Save, and then it will upload all the information. We recommend that you click on Save every single time you add a tag. So don't upload 20 and then click Save, because if something goes wrong with the internet connection, or there's a little bit of a delay in something, and for whatever reason it doesn't save, you have to redo all of it, and we don't want that to happen. So every single time you add one, just click Save. It takes you 1 second just to make sure that it's there. And now we can go to the top, click on View, and it will open your virtual room or your virtual space, and you will see that now there's a racket here. Now, obviously, I think that this racket is a little bit big, so we probably have to adjust that. But this is why you preview. And once I click on this racket, you would have the pop-up window. Now, this can look a little bit better if you add more information, but you get the idea of how this works, right? Pretty straightforward. You just follow the editing menu. Okay. Now, there are many of these types of features. So we have the standard tag, which we've just done. We have an image that is just a pop-up window with an image. We have a memo that is just a description. We have a web tag, and I'll cover that in a second. We have an audio tag that is just an audio clip that you can upload. A video tag, which is the video here that displays directly within the showroom, which is obviously gives you that really interactive experience. The multi-tag, which is the tag with all of the images and all of the descriptions, and a sticker, which is good for example, logos. If you want to add a logo in your showroom, logos are usually not clickable. People don't click on them. Nothing has to pop up. So it's basically just a sticker that you can add. Also really, really useful. Now, I just want to show you, I'm not going to go through each one of them because we don't have time for that, but I do want to show you the web tag because that's, I think, one of the most versatile tags that we've got. You can do many, many different things with it. You can basically, take any URL and embed it within your showroom, which obviously allows you to do your company website or a YouTube video or a YouTube live or a checkout page, anything you could possibly think of, which makes this super, super useful for your virtual showroom or your virtual experience. So let me click on that. And again, same thing happens. So I click on it, a tag will open, or a tag icon shows up in the middle, and the tag window will open. Now, obviously, you can upload your own custom icon, but I'm just going to use this one for now, just the standard one. All right, I'm making this a little bit smaller, and I'm just putting it next to the racket here. But you can obviously change this. You can also make this into text. Say, click here to join us live, or chat with us directly. You can also, for example, embed your chat functionality with this tag. Really, really cool, really useful. So again, icon size, icon opacity, same thing as we just saw. The custom coordinate plane functionality, I won't use that now. You've seen how that works. And then, you can add a title here, and then a URL, right? So let me just take this URL over here and enter it here, and that's the URL that then will show up. Now what you see here, the action is important because there are two options. You can either iframe it or you can open it in a new window. Now, for those of you who don't know what iframe is, that's basically embedding, meaning that you're embedding the page directly within the showroom. That means that people don't actually leave the virtual experience or the showroom, which is obviously great because if you're opening it in a new window, people leave and there's a good chance that they don't come back. So iframe is usually the recommended way of doing it. And then you can choose the size of your window. We are recommending 65%, but you can make it bigger or smaller depending on what your preference is. One note here, there are some pages that are not allowed to be embedded. So for example, Instagram or social media, Facebook. If you embed those and you use iframe, those pages don't actually work. But that has nothing to do with our platform. It's simply because those websites or those platforms don't allow themselves to be embedded anywhere out of the security reasons maybe. In that case, you can still use them, but then choose new window, so you open it in a new window. But for the vast majority of all pages, you won't actually have this problem, so you can use iframe. Okay, so again, we're saving it, and we can go to the top, click on View, and then we should see our new icon that we've added in the room. And here you go. So now when I click on this, the web page, the iStaging website in this case, shows up at a 65% size screen. So really, really, really useful. And what I haven't covered yet is sort of the interaction that you can add, and that's mainly also done using the web tag. So for example, you can add a Zoom link in here or a Teams link. You can add a YouTube live, set up a YouTube live and embed that link so that people can join a live presentation. You can do a chat functionality. So if you actually have a chat, you create a separate page on your website and embed that so people can directly chat with you. Also great, so you don't have to get used to different chat functionalities. You can just use the one that you've already got. Really, really simple. So very important feature, especially if you're building a showroom or any type of virtual experience. Okay, now I see that I've already been talking for 20 minutes and there's so much more to say, but I will leave it here for now. This gives you an idea of what you can do within the platform, especially in terms of editing. And you can be super creative. I would highly recommend that you go to our gallery on the website and check out some of the the booths and the experiences there. We've also done this with the Van Gogh gallery, for example, which looks absolutely fantastic. I'm pretty sure if you start looking at it and you're a little bit interested in art, you would actually follow the pre-recorded guided tour and click on the information. Super cool, really engaging. We realized that ourselves when we started building these samples, and even when we had clients building their own, that it's super engaging, and you find yourself really quickly spending quite a long time in these spaces. The same way you would on social media or on, for example, YouTube, right? It's really attractive and engaging. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go back to our. Here we go. To the chat room right here. Okay, let's look at some of the questions maybe that we've got. I can talk for a long time, but I just want to go and see if you guys had some questions for us. Probably I see that Andrea has already helped you out in many ways. So I'll just give her a minute to get everything together. And if she wants me to go through the chat, I can also do that. So don't worry. So anyway, feel free to ask any questions, guys. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah. So a lot of these, advanced tag functionalities, a lot of these advanced tag options are, as Andrea said, only available in the showroom plans. So in standard and business. Now, it is important to think about what kind of experience you're looking to build. For example, if you're in real estate and you're looking to create a virtual tour of a property, you probably don't need a lot of these tag functions. You need a way to capture the space. But in that case, our pay-by-usage plan for $5 a month is a great way of getting started. Now, if you really want something more engaging, and you're building a showroom or a virtual store or a virtual mall or host a virtual exhibition, right? Then obviously these types of functionalities become really important. Okay. Now, before I forget, on the website, if you go to iStaging.com, there is a button on the left side where you can actually sign up for a free trial for the showroom plans. We're running a promotion at the moment where you can purchase a plan for either 6 or 12 months, and you can try for a month for free. And then if you don't like it, if it doesn't match with what you're looking for, you can simply unsubscribe. But I would highly recommend that you guys do that and go take a look. And what you also get is an onboarding session. So what I now did in a really short period of time, we will then do over the time of about an hour. And that could probably take even longer, but sometimes it's also good for you guys to explore yourself. But approximately in an hour, we cover a lot of these things with either me or any of my colleagues that would do the onboarding with you. So you can do that, and then we can help you out and give you tips on what we would like to learn what you're trying to create. Then we can help you, give you some tips on what to build and how to build it and which functionalities to use. Because, when you're building, for example, an online gallery, or if you're doing an exhibition or, something like that, those are obviously very different things, and different functionalities might match better with that. Okay, now I see here, by the way, to anyone on Facebook that is joining, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions there, just post them and they'll get to us as well. Andrea will make sure of that, or we will come back to you after the webinar, so don't worry. Now I see a question here. Can the showroom be redesigned by potential clients who have their own pictures? So when you say can the showroom be redesigned, if you choose one of our templates, right, that's a render. So that's obviously not, once you have that, you can't redesign that. But if you have images, for example, images and the things that I just showed you in the editor, then yes, those can obviously be changed at any point in time. But if you have an account and your client does not, I would not recommend giving them access to your subscription. So in that case, they can have their own subscription. Now we have a great system that is basically an admin sub-account system. So you can have an admin account, and you can have your clients that you're creating these virtual experiences for. You can set up sub-accounts for each one of them. Now there are several benefits. Number one is that you can actually have different contact information for each one of those. So a different client, for different clients, you obviously want different contact information. So that's one. Number two is that then the client can actually access that account and only see their creation and maybe edit it. But the beauty is that you can do that at the same time. So you, in the admin account, will also have direct access to all of those in the sub accounts under you, so that you can still help out, right? Or you can say, hey, I'm helping you build your initial showroom or build your initial virtual experience, and then once I'm basically done, your clients can log into the sub account and make any edits that they might want to do. So that's a great way of basically still be involved in a way. You can see that there's a banner at the top now, what I just mentioned about the free trial. You can take a look there. There's no strings attached, so you can just sign up, and we can get that going for you. I hope, Khalil, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If not, I sincerely apologize. I hope that sort of answered your question. If you need further clarification, please, don't feel free to reach out to us. If you don't mind, I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. And Frederick, nice to see you. How long can you keep this content or the showrooms on the server? For as long as you have an active subscription. So whether we have monthly subscriptions and annual subscriptions, but for as long as you have an active subscription, it is basically online. That's the way it works. Pretty straightforward. If you if you unsubscribe or you cancel your subscription or don't continue, for example, after a year, then all of your creations will automatically be turned offline. Daniela is saying, the next webinar, please, in Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't really speak Spanish. I can understand a little bit, but I think that would be a little bit embarrassing if I try that. It's going to take a long time. We can see if we can somehow, provide a translation for you. And we do have a Spanish speaker on our team. So if you have any specific questions, we can always direct you there. I see you're from Ecuador, great. And if you want to communicate via email or via our customer service chat, we do answer, we can answer in Spanish, so don't worry, right? Even though maybe in a phone call that might be a little bit more complicated, but online it's very easy to do. By the way, Frederick, I hope that answered your question. If not, just let me know. Now, you probably noticed that I am a little bit hot. That's what happens when you turn off the AC. All right. Any other questions, guys? Is there anything else that we can help you with? Feel free to ask anything, honestly. We would also love to hear what you're trying to create. If you say, hey, I'm looking for some tips because I'm trying to create a virtual showroom, or for retail, or for actually we talk to even if you think I'm in a certain industry, I'm not sure if this is relevant. It probably is. We've had so many interesting conversations with so many different people at different industries that want to use this. Just recently I spoke to someone that is in agricultural business. Now, if you would have asked me, I would have said, well, I'm not really sure how to use that exactly. But he had wonderful ideas and great, very innovative in the ways that he would like to use the platform. I think he might actually be here today. Anyway, I hope that it was helpful. So even if these types of things, we love to talk about it and see how we can help you out and learn about what you're trying to create. Now, if there are no more questions, then I won't keep you guys for much longer. Then I definitely hope that today was helpful for you. We'll probably do more of these in the future. If you think this was helpful, let us know so that we can maybe schedule these more in the future and go into different functionalities of the platform to help you out. Right? To say, okay, now today I showed you a couple of things, but there's so much more to show. So maybe in a month or so, we can do another one and focus on some other stuff. All right, Frederick, thank you so much. This is very helpful. That's wonderful. That's great to hear. Again, I would say, hey, Andrew already mentioned about the different topics. Also wonderful. We love to hear them. And again, I would say, hey, give that 30-day free trial a try. You have nothing to lose, right? You can just sign up, and always, if it doesn't fit what you're looking for, you can always cancel at any time. No one is typing anymore. I am assuming that there are no further questions. Thank you so much for joining us today. I genuinely appreciate you joining us here. You guys are so important to us. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and then we hope that we can see you at the next one. Thanks a lot, and talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.